some other goodies for me. Sure, they had quite a few things there. And this is me indulging. And so there's two things that you see behind me, ironically, but it's not because they're everywhere. The two things you see all around the city, first of all, are the temples. They're everywhere. And what I finally figured out is most of the night markets are adjacent to a temple. The other thing is 7-Eleven in Taiwan is like Starbucks in Seattle. They're at every other street corner, and there's another little convenience store that rivals 7-Eleven. That if 7-Eleven's not on that corner, the other store is going to be there. So I didn't notice it at first when the picture was taken, but yeah, those are two very representative things behind. So this is a picture, and the sun was beginning to set whenever I left the market. And that is the main temple that is at the beginning of that market. And with the light going down, I just thought it was a really cool picture there. This is not the biggest one, though. I'll show you a bigger one later. Now, you know, when you got ready to start the meeting today, Brian, you talked about ringing the bell. At this meeting, we rang the bell in grand style. They had one of the traditional drum teams there, and instead of just ringing a regular rotary bell, we had a big gong. Some of Farah's presentation showed you a video of the opening session. This is just a couple of the pictures that I took when they were having the opening session. And that's one of the really cool things about going to Rotary International, wherever it's held, the entertainment that's native to that area performs, and they perform in a fabulous way. I see some of the shows that I saw just as a part of the general sessions, I'm sure would have cost hundreds of dollars. Whoops. This is another picture, and of course, besides all the dancers, they had graphics going on the screen behind it, and it was hard to pick all that up in the video, so I just did a few still shots so that you can see it. Here again, more of the dancers, more of the graphics behind them. It was quite a show. This reminds me of a bird of paradise. But again, the dancers were there, and you can, mess you up if you have me on video, but this looks like a bird of paradise, and those are the dancers bending over, getting ready to do headstands there. My finger wasn't fast enough to get the headstands, but really cool. Farah talked a lot about the House of Friendship, and this is just one of the areas within the house. And I ran into my good friend Kathy Allred, who's with one of the Plano clubs, and we visited there and had some ice cream there, so it was a really good time. But everybody approaches International Convention a little bit different. There are general sessions typically in the morning and breakout sessions in the afternoon. And the breakout sessions are very informative, especially if you're new to Rotary. Since I've been in Rotary over 30 years, I tend, because a lot of the information they have, you can actually get from the online training if you go to the Rotary webpage. So I choose to see the area and also visit the House of Friendship in the afternoon instead of the general sessions. The House of Friendship has people from all over the world, booths from all over the world that not only sell Rotary merchandise. Farah had talked about the fact that she had gotten a Rotary shirt there, but all kinds of spices that are native to the area, coffees. There's a massage booth. Needless to say, I stopped there. Clothing, you could have bought beautiful silk, Japanese, just everything, Indian, anything you can imagine, jewelry. It's fabulous to spend hours in the House of Friendship. And there is also special events for those that are Paul Harris Fellows and above. And so this was part of the donors settlement that I had an invitation to. And again, the drum team performed for us. There was all sorts of entertainment. But at this session, they really drive home what we're doing in foundation, how much we've raised, how much the backing is that we're getting from the Gates Foundation, what we've been able to accomplish with those monies this year. So it really is a good foundation update. And then they also, for those persons who have contributed $250,000 or more to Rotary Foundation, are part of the Arch Plum Society, and they induct all the new Arch Plum members at that too. So it's an impressive event. This is what Taiwan is kind of the picture that represents Taiwan. It's called Taipei 101. And at the time this was built, it was the tallest building, including the spire at the top. I was lucky to get that picture of it because the thing about Taipei, Taiwan, is it's really extremely hot and humid, or it is raining. And we probably got more of the rain than anything else. So that is actually a clear picture. When I had a break long enough to go into the building, it was totally overcast. I couldn't justify going all the way to the top to see clouds because, you know, I can see that from some of the tall buildings here. But anyway, it is an impressive building, and I didn't realize it yet, but you can see how it kind of takes off from the way temples are built, and they have the layers of the roof just kind of with the pearls. It kind of is paying credit to that, it seems to me. Oh, and if you do go into that building, the bottom two, probably 3 floors are nothing but the most high-end stores you can imagine. I mean, everything you can think of, Anna. I mean, oh, Tiffany's. I sent my daughter a picture. She said, okay, this time you can bring me home souvenirs. No. This is our John Bucco speaking. You can see in the smaller screen. And he did one of our sessions. He's the CEO of Rotary, and so he's really the operational officer in Chicago as they change, like this is coming through. As they change presidents every year, he's the one who is the consistency keeping Rotary operating. And one of the things he said was offer people what they want. And it brought memory back to a training session that I went to a long time ago. And it's true in everything you do. That training session drove home. If you really want to make an impact, you have to give the people what they want, when they want it, and how they want it. And if you can do those 3 things, you can be successful in your business. We can be successful in Rotary. We just have to figure out what is it that they want and how do we deliver it to them. Another saying, you don't need to be extraordinary to make a difference. You need to show up with what you have and the will to give it. And, you know, we know that as we do our own service projects. If you have a passion for what we're doing and you show up, Rick, you talked about the backpacks. You show up, you give those kids the backpack, and you see the joy that they have in the service that we're providing. I'm gonna do my best to not butcher because my Southeast Texas accent and proper pronunciation don't work well. Malala Yousafzai. If anybody can pronounce it better, please do it for me.
A lot of work.
Malala was one of our speakers. Now, whenever she spoke, they asked us not to take any pictures of her. But she has now, she's a co-founder of the Malaria Fund. She's a Nobel laureate, best-selling author, and producer. She's really taken girls' issues on as she's become an adult and matured and so forth. So we did hear from her. I do have a picture of her. I did not take it there, but Rotary International posted it on their webpage. So I figured if they could post it, I could download it.
Why didn't that work?
I think it's a security thing.
What?
I think it's a security thing because as you would see her speak, you would not have known that she received a bullet. Now I've seen another still picture of her as I was pulling information for this. I found another still picture posted where she's looking straight on and you can see that the eyes don't match exactly. But I think it more had to do with security because of what she does, what she stands for, what she speaks about. But she gave us a great presentation and I'm going to read from some of the things that she said because memory doesn't work that great these days. She, at age 15, she survived the Taliban attack aimed at silencing her activism. Following months of surgery and rehabilitation in the United Kingdom, she co-founded the Malala Fund, and that was in 2014. Or in 2014, she won the Nobel Peace Prize for all the advancements that she made in her work. She noted that 120 million girls worldwide remain without school. And she urges, for that to change so that they can get an education. She said, over the years, I've learned that one person cannot change the world alone, but every movement in history was built by many hands. She said, when you go home, look for girls in your community who are at risk of dropping out. Ask teachers what you can do to support their work. And we can do that here locally. We've talked before about how those in our own school district sometimes have trouble. Sometimes they're homeless. She did say that she has had some mental health issues relating to all that she's gone through. And I think at first what she was saying is she didn't want to admit to that. And she said, therapy helped me recognize that asking for help is a strength, not a weakness. So that day, mental health was one of the things that we were kind of concentrating on. In the general sessions, they always try to take various focus issues and cover 2 or 3 of them at each general session at Rotary International. So it is so inspiring to actually be there and see these presentations. So after that session, I got on the subway and went to Longshan, which is the biggest temple area that they have. And this is just the water fountain that was adjacent to it. It's gorgeous. This gold structure, I can't even tell you what it symbolizes, but it's absolutely stunning. And here, it's hard to see, but, and I don't know what the history was behind it or the purpose was behind it, but these are plates of food with beautiful fresh vegetables and fruit on them. I know it was prayer service time, so I saw some of the Taiwanese doing prayer service. And so I'm assuming that that was served to them after their prayers. And there were flowers all over too. I'm going to show you some more pictures. But look at the delicacy of the artwork up in that corner. It amazes me. Here's another picture where you can see some of that and the contrast, because you have this old temple right next to a high-rise, probably apartment building. There was this batch full of flowers and they were beautiful. I'm not sure why they were there because I can't read what's on those cards, but if any of you can, help me understand. This is going more into the interior of the temple and seeing some of the displays and just beauty of it all. And this picture, I tried to really get in on the fine, let me see if I can even go inside, to where you can really see how fine and intricate all of this is. Little pond, this was kind of on the opposite side from where the waterfall was. Just, yeah, you can see there's a fish spouting water, just all beautiful. And that's why, to me, attending Rotary International is more about just going to the meetings. It's discovering the culture of all our other Rotarians too. And on the subway, I noticed a Rotary promotion, so I had to take a picture of that too. They did. I mean, they had signs welcoming Rotary every place you went, which was really good. I also, because I made major donor this year, I was invited to a dinner that evening, doing good in the world. And so it was a multi-course, very nice. We had band. This band came from Italy. Our outgoing president, I think I was mentioning his name, Francisco, let me get his last name correct. Aristo. He's from Italy. And so he got to bring in some of his favorite entertainment for our show. And so this band was fabulous and they entertained us and there was dancing after the dinner. Just a really, really nice.
Did you dance?
I had nobody to dance with. So no, I did not dance. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I think I might have a dance partner at the next one, so we'll see. I'll talk about the next one soon. I have the ladies that competes with me is originally from when she was a child from Taiwan. And she said, Max, you have to go to the Natural Museum or the Museum of History. It's called the Palace Museum. And the most beautiful jade carvings are there. And this is actually 3 circles within each other, all carved from a piece of jade. Beautiful. The thing, and Farah talked a little bit about the cabbage. This is a close-up picture that I took of the cabbage. And you can see the different colors within that piece of jade, the white to the green, but it's all carved from a piece of jade. And then all kinds of beautiful pieces of jade there. Now, another friend of mine said, yeah, no, Taiwan took all of that from China. That's how they got it there, but I'm not into the politics of it. Again, different colored jades just making this scene, floral scene on the plate. I think Farrah had this picture. He was almost life-size in a case there. And then outside the Palace Museum, beautiful, beautiful grounds. And, yeah, there's mountains all over in Colinas. Of course, it's an island, so you would expect that. These are pictures of the garden that's next door, and it's just the most peaceful area to just relax and enjoy. Another picture. And again, I love the bridges. Totally love that. Flowers. That's basically the palace, the building that you see in the background. Again, another beautiful picture at the gardens. This is more the weather we were accustomed to seeing, rain, but it did kind of give some contrast on Taipei 101. This was the beginning of the closing session. A lot of acrobatic performances, dancers, and so forth. This guy is balancing on tubes. Would not want to be him. And he's high up too. That is not the ground that orchard thing is on. More of the dancers. Part of our closing ceremony, they use the HAS as Rotary has people who are helpful and encourage, appreciative and compliment, successful and support. So another great presentation there. And the closing ceremony, we had a different group come in from Italy and perform. And they were, again, I was so impressed with the first one. This one was even better. And then a couple of pictures of them. And meanwhile, the visual things that they had going on, this is just the screen playing behind the band. You can see the band really small in front, but just beautiful artwork going on behind them. This is our incoming president. Now that we had gotten to July 1st, our current Rotary International president. And Yinka is how he goes. I don't think I'm even going to try to pronounce his name, but he does go as Yinka, thank goodness. And he's from Nigeria. And whenever part of presenting the new president, they always present their entire family, sisters, brothers, children, children's spouses, everybody. And I wasn't fast enough again on the picture, but whenever he presented his family, all of the women were in white gowns and all of the men had some version of that print that he was wearing. So it was pretty special to see. And actually you could see that group in the audience because the group from Nigeria had their own typical, what's the word I want to use, dressing on and all the colorful fabrics, and they all wore the same fabric each day. So at the end of the conference, maybe I'm not there yet. I'll show you a picture of a group of them in another one. Leona Lewis, who I didn't realize I knew who that was our closing act at the closing ceremony. When you start looking at her music, she sang Fire Under My Feet, Bleeding Love, and you really listen to the words. They have a lot to do with what our Rotary mission was. I've been listening to her songs. I didn't know who did them. I didn't know those were the names of them, but it was a fabulous concert at the end. This was an unbelievably long line of the Rotary actors greeting us. As the session ended and we walked out, they were all lined up and greeted us. And you just went by and it was on and on. And every one of them was saying, thank you for being here. We had fun. That is the most engaged I've seen at any. been at, I think, 8 of them in person now. That's the most engaged I've ever seen of the home country. This is the group I was talking about from Nigeria. They were all in rings the last day. And so finally, the day after the conference ended, I was able to spend the whole day sightseeing. And they have what they call the Eco Park, which is basically rock formations. And one of them they consider to be the Queen. And I don't know if you can see it really well, but her neck is quite wide in the first picture, and it's each year as the wind and weather deteriorates the rock structure, and how thin her neck is now in 2025 when that sculpture was done. So this is a bigger picture of the rock formations out there. Beautiful skies, beautiful area. That was the one day, thank goodness it was finally sunny, and had a great tour that day. This is her in the center with, it's not the best angle, but it was the best angle I could get without a whole bunch of people in it. But it's how her neck is finally slowly deteriorating just from the elements. The neck, yeah, it's a rock sculpture that they think looks like a queen's face. And so it's getting at the most narrow part, which is what represents her neck. The elements are just deteriorating it.
Hey, Max, as you kind of go forward, do you have some forward-looking comments, some big takeaways from?
I do. There's, I'm gonna just run through these pictures really quickly.
Yeah.
This is a famous tea house. I did have tea there, and the little sides that they serve with it. This was the view. Where was that? That was. It's noisy, so I'll move on. Wooden bridge to get there. This is the other thing. They would launch batteries to bring some Christmas fire. And then they release. And I'm not going to wait for that to load. The really cool thing is I always get a window seat. When I took off, I looked down and I was actually trying to get 101. It's in the picture, but it's hard to see. But the next picture, that's 101.
Wow.
This strip that you see coming down is actually where that eco park was and all those rock formations. So it was really cool. The next conference will be in Barcelona. I encourage you to go because we do so much at our club as to help our community. But when you go to Rotary International or even some of the district service projects, you see what Rotary is doing with your foundation dollars. And it really makes you a part of changing the world and seeing how you can change the world. So thank you.
Love it.
Oh, one more thing. The thing that Taiwan is known for that you can only buy there and you can't buy in the US is their pineapple cake. I have some. I will tell you, it's not like what we call pineapple cake, but if anybody wants to try one, it's a piece of pineapple that's kind of candy. And then they have what I consider more of a pie crust around it, and it's baked. So it's not as moist as what we would call, but if you want to experience Taiwanese pineapple cake, I brought some.
Nice. All right. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Excellent. Yeah, it's really cool to be a part of an organization that's making an impact not only locally, but across the globe. So a couple of announcements coming up. So next week on Tuesday, August 6th, is our social. It'll be at the Reserve, Tex-Mex, which is right off of North Garden Boulevard. In that big over last letter. Yep. So close to the 4th, little typo there. So the 4th, Tuesday, right? Tuesday the 4th of next week. And so, yeah, Taco Tuesday, they're excited to see us there. And look forward to seeing you there. August 15th, you heard Bill talk about the flags, right? So if you're ready to get your hands dirty, or at least ready to tell your friends about getting your hands dirty, that's the day to do it. And so I'm going to open it up. Any other announcements or opportunities to, yes, awesome.
Me first.
So Kathy first.
Tonight starts the Colinas Park garage sale. Starts the first thing tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock. 7 to 7 tomorrow and 7 to 4 on Saturday. So Colinas Park Methodist Church on 183, Sweet Story in Arthur. And you'll find everything you need or anything you want.
Yeah. So the Plymouth Park garage sale tomorrow and Saturday.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Kathy. Heather, and then Bob.
I was just gonna announce, we are gearing up for our annual luncheon. I know many of you have attended, many of them have already bought tables and tickets, and we're very appreciative of that. But if anyone's interested in more information about tables or tickets for their individual interests, I have information with me. And as a reminder, the luncheon is Friday, October 9th at the Las Colinas.
And Rose got a table last year.
Yes.
We did.
Right.
We did. And this year, the individual Texas icon will be honoring Bernie Stamen.
Oh,
And then the company that we're honoring is Toyota.
good reasons for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Great. So that's October 9th. Awesome. Thank you. Patty and Bob.
It may have been announced last week, but David Harris's memorial service is this Friday.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. At 4 o'clock at All Saints on Douglas Avenue. That's Preston Center. St. Michael, St. Michael's.
Yeah, and it's all together.
But
Okay.
I'm sure that you
Yeah.
will share what I do. David was important member of this Rotary Club and was always so kind and a friend to everyone.
He was. Yeah. Great. Yeah. So David Harris Memorial tomorrow. Excellent. Great. Bob and then Rick.
Oh, that's what I want.
That was what you're gonna say? Oh, cool. All right. Great.
Question for Max. Max, our club will work with our new members.
Yes.
We're gonna keep the University of Dallas, I think.
Yes.
We're working on that. Shine had worked very hard with DDU to no success. On Rotary.
Yeah.
And I heard you use that word several times in your talk. What can our district do to elevate that? To help us and other clubs make Rotary more important?
So we have a Rotary chairs in our district and they're all.
Use your microphone here.
We have a Rotary chairs so we can work through them. Somehow here I was governor, I kept talking about the Sunrise Rotary Club. Somehow they were not registered. Rotary International didn't have them registered, and so I was having a hard time getting them recognized. So as we start working again, we want to make sure we find out how to get it proper. And I bet at one point in time, they got registered and it dropped off and nobody knew. As sponsors changed and so forth, but we need to be sure we get that done so that they can be in the loop for communication and so forth. And then whenever something is happening, and by the way, so I talked about Rotary International. That's one level of meeting. We have zone meetings. We have multi-district meetings. There's different levels, and there's a lot of Rotary activities going on at those things. So we want to get them involved in those, and they'll hear about them when we get them registered.
Good, thank you.
First of all, thank you for representing our club.
Yes.
Our district.
I enjoy.
Appreciate it. And The House of Friendship, is that specific to Taiwan or is
No,
that?
It's at every Rotary International Conference. Usually it's right next to where the general sessions are. This time it was like a 15-minute subway ride apart because that was the only way they could fit everything in. But no, it's fabulous and you do need to allow hours to spend at it.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Like about everyone this evening. A summer mixer at Glory House, you know, Joanne Going. And she's opening up her area for level pathways. I'm a member of that. So it's a fundraiser. Every year we work with the Irving School District. For those students, we don't say homeless, we say unhoused. So we have 2 houses, one for the ladies, one for the guys. We got to pay the rent and power. It's a kind of a fundraiser, but it's a Glory House. You'll learn more about level pathways, what we do for Irving Independent School District. It's today and from 5 to 7. So I'd like to see you there. You can make it 109 South Main, Glory House. Thank you.
All right.
Excellent, excellent, awesome. So some great opportunities to serve. I appreciate that, the announcements. And if you got, Rick, myself, Ken, Shane, all going to continue to work on Rotaract, our Rotaract program. So if anyone has any ideas, suggestions, we're all ears. With that, I want to move to Patty Caperton to please lead us in the 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do.
Please join me in the 4-way test. First,
Is it true?
second, is it
All considered.
third, and fourth?
All right, with that, I will see you guys on Tuesday.